All right, history of the GIA and Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Auxiliary Programs. History of the Student Scholarship Program. The Student Scholarship Program was founded with the introduced the resolution of the third quinquennial convention of the held in Cleveland, Ohio, in 1981. The Grand Guide of the Ruth of the Wyndham Ham. The motion was amended with the change of the recipient qualifications and care of the vote of the delegates. It was found through the donation for the subdivision memorial donation of the voluntary contributions. During the following 5 years, the financial growth was very slow. In April 1986, the executive council voted and established a solid financial base within $15,500, for which the interest would be used to award the scholarship. A part-time financial contributed with the GIA and Brotherhood of Local Engineering members of the donation special fund with the fundraising. History of the Care and Assistance Program, formerly Age-Dependent Sisters in Relief Fund. In 1992, the orphan home was funded with established a delegate for the convention held in St. Paul, Minnesota. 4 years later, the name was changed, but the relief fund was used for the native members to celebrate the 25th anniversary. Founding the order of the Grand President Murdoch suggested that they be established to care for the orphan and half-orphan children of needy members. It was called the Orphans Pension Fund, but the generous contribution was received from the subdivision. The Age-Dependent Sister Fund was founded in 1920 with the recommendation of the Grand President Mary E. Castle. Third Triennial Convention held in Cleveland, Ohio, was the laws were established 3 years later. The first of 3 years for the existence of the 10,000 was contributed by members. Throughout the continued effort, the officers and members were funded. It has grown. The Relief Fund, Orphan Fund, and the Age Dependent Sisters Funds with incorporated the Age Dependent Sisters Relief Fund by delegates at Second Quinquennial Convention held in Ohio in 1976, as was established in 1977. Amended with the donation of the members of the Brotherhood of Local Engineering. Members' bond and bank interest may be an annual assessment of 25 cents per member. In 1991, the Age-Dependent Sister of the Relief Fund was renamed with the Care of the Assistance Program. Action of the delegates of the Ed 5 Quinquennial Convention held in Cleveland, Ohio. History of the Legislative Program. The legislation program was introduced resolution with the Third Quinquennial Convention held in Cleveland, Ohio in 1981. The Grand Guide of the Ruth, Wyndham Ham. Grand President Lee P. May Parker determined that the work shall be incorporated with the duties of the second vice president. The program was once through the workload of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering National Legislative Representative legislative matters that would affect the Brotherhood or auxiliary at national, state, or local level. In September 2001, the Seventh Quinquennial Convention of the Miami Beach floor of the resolution enacted the name of the first vice president of the National Legislative Representative, added the duties of assistant legislative representative of the office of the second vice president of the office of the legislative representative, added local auxiliary officers. Additional duties were added to the state and the provincial legislative representative to be added to the national president deemed necessary upon the recommendation of the national legislative representative. In June 2016, the 8th Quinquennial Convention was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Conventional Health and Safety Committee, whose duty was transferred into the Credential Committee that was replaced with the Legislative Committee to provide a weighting of the membership and provide with the input in our legislative direction. History and Mobilization Program. In 1997, the GIA, under the leadership of the International President Ruth Wyndham Ham, joined the Brotherhood of Local Engineering to enact the mobilization program. The program of the pyramid form consists of the National Mobilization Coordinator, regional coordinators, team captains. It's quite simple. The grand giant phone tree was designed to create the grassroots involving of the membership. The auxiliary determined the years ago after those issues after the effect of locomotive engineering, the trainmen ultimately affected their spouses and families as well. This program enables us to reach out to members with a matter of hours. In September 2001, the 7th Quinquennial Convention held in Miami Beach, Florida, the resolution enacted to create the Office of Mobilization Coordinator as a local auxiliary officer. Other changes to the auxiliary in 1996, the delegates of the 6th Quinquennial Convention of Detroit and Michigan to take advantage of the GIA officers would be known as the International Officer rather than Grand Officers. The subdivision would be known as Auxiliary in 2016. In 2006, the 8th Quinquennial Convention in Las Vegas, Nevada, in part due to the change of the organizational structure of the Brotherhood of Local Engineering, the delegates voted to recognize the International Auxiliary into two national organizations: the Brotherhood of Local Engineering Auxiliary, the Team Canada Rail Conference Auxiliary, and those two organizations would then maintain the relations of service organization, continuing respective works of support. Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering and Transport Teamster Canada Rail Conference officers of both organizations would be known as the national officers rather than internal national officers. 2010, all the first quadrennial convention of Reno, Nevada, all references to the sister organization Teamster Canada Raphael Conference were eliminated from the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Auxiliary as an organization was never nearly formed or organized. In 2014, the second quadrennial convention of the Las Vegas, Nevada, the following change was voted by the delegates implemented with the Constitution bylaws. One, the title of the national vice president were changed to the national first vice president, national two, second vice president, national legislative representative, national third vice president. The membership requirement of the application to do the auxiliary scholarship program, the care of the assistant program was reduced to 2 years to 1 year. The excluding of the position national secretary for the national trust, the term limit of the national officers were revised, allowing the national officer to serve in the same elected office no more than 2 years of 2 4-year terms or 8 years. The national secretary and national treasurer position were continued to be elected with the alternating convention to serve 2 consecutive 4-year terms or 8 years, but they are not eligible to re-election with the completion of the 8-year term. Are supplies available from the office of the National Secretary? The full associated membership of the application, internal audit form, the Constitution, bylaws, charter, the journal proceedings, the letterhead, notice and dues, the authorization expenditure of the funds. All supplies will be furnished to the auxiliary of the members at large upon the written request of the National Secretary. Auxiliary members at large are responsible for the cost of the supplies, and posted supplies will be returned with the request together with all invoice for the supply posted. Then must be added to the requester and paid to the National Secretary no later than 30 days following the receipt of the invoice and supplies. Information forms for auxiliary businesses. Membership pins. The membership pin is presented to each of the members of the following acceptance for the membership of the application. The membership they may wear the pin with the auxiliary meeting of the function. Any other place for the membership which indicate their membership in the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Trainment Auxiliary. Annual report. Forms. Annual report. Internal audit committee report. Regular meeting signing sheet. Regular membership application. Associated membership application. Notice for the dues and authorization expenditure funds. The auxiliary officer would like to receive any of those documents in the Microsoft Word compatible form. Place contact with the National Secretary form. If you're an auxiliary officer and would like to receive any of these documents in the Microsoft Word compatible, please contact the National Secretary. Alright, form and organizing auxiliary. A petition for the charter of the organized new auxiliary may be obtained with the National President with the auxiliary website with the auxiliary information pack of the way. The National Secretary received the petition for the charter for the company with the fee of the $25. The National Secretary shall furnish for the organizing officer appointed with the National President all forms and information necessary to organize the auxiliary all organization meeting. If any one present desires to join the charter member, he or she will give their name and sign the charter. This list of the charter members' signatures along with the copies of the applications must be returned to the National Secretary within 30 days of the date of the auxiliary is organized. The organizing officer will submit a report detailing the organizational meeting with the National President within 10 days. The organizing officer will call the meeting to order. Anyone present who is already a member of the auxiliary will be appointed as acting secretary to make minutes of the meeting. If no one is presented as an auxiliary member, the organization officer will be appointed by the member elected to take the meetings. The organization officer will ask for rise for prayer, and after which all may be seated. All new members will pay an application fee of $10 for the acting secretary, who will record the receipt of the turning the fees over the organization officer. The acting secretary will collect the contact information with all the charter members, including the names, address, the telephone number, the email addresses. Said information will be forwarded to the National Secretary within 30 days. Organizational officer will give the brief overview of the mission and purpose of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Training Auxiliary. Ensure that all the charter members understand the organization, take any of the questions that may arise. The organizing officer will then ask all the charter members to stand up and repeat the obligation to become the member of the auxiliary. After all are seated, the organization officers will become the new members. If the election officers occur with the organizational meeting, the organizational officers will oversee an election. Once the officers are duly elected, it will install said officers. Once installed, the organizating officer will turn the meeting over to the new president. Alright, obligation. I pledge to stand by any member of the organization and adversity, as well as the prosperity, to act prudently, justly, and kindly to all the members, and to do unto others as I would have them do unto me. I'll be fair in my judgments and other members, as well as defend them in the best of my ability. I will visit the sick and distressed of the auxiliary, rendering the assistance as I can. I will, by the Constitution, bylaws, and rules governing the auxiliary, I will do any of my power to promote the welfare, although I solemnly swear All of this I solemnly promise in the presence of these witnesses. Installation of the auxiliary officers. Each auxiliary must close its books December 31st, and the audit committee shall immediately comply with the report before installation of the new officer. The retiring secretary must read the annual report immediately after the installation meeting. The second, send it together with the national dues assessment. The national secretary installation of the officers will begin at the first meeting of the January following this election. During the new business, the president may install the new officers, may appoint a member who is not an officer elect to act as an installing secretary for the installation of the officers. Presiding the installation secretary will read this list of officers with the name of those elected with the said officers. The list of officers will stand and install. The secretary will ask each other of the officer if they are willing to discharge the duties to the office which elected. Upon the receipt with a satisfactory answer, the installing secretary will then declare the officer's duties. Installed officers will have been held over need not to be reinstalled. Newly elected officials are unable to present and may be installed with the absentia. Optional installation of the officer's login form or oath. During the new business, the president may install the new officers and may appoint the member who is not an officer and elected to act as an installing secretary for the installation officer. The president and the installing secretary will read the list of the officers, the name of those selected to said officer. The officer will stand and move it into the front of the dais and to the front of the room facing the installing secretary. The installing secretary will then ask all the officers to install to the right hand and then repeat after hearing her or him for the following installation oath. I do solemnly promise that the presence of the other members to perform the best with my ability to the duties of the office in which I have been elected. I will be obeyed the Constitution, bylaws, auxiliary, and by the decision national auxiliary. I will deliver my successor in office national auxiliary if applicable to all the books and record keeping belonging to my office. I furthermore promise to help any of the way I can do to promote the protect of the auxiliary, and if the members in the best ability to all ways to keep the auxiliary mission and purpose in mind. Installing a secretary extends the hand of the friendship to present each of the officers with a pink carnation. Optional newly installed officers are seated. The president installing secretary wraps the gravel and announces that the new officers are installed. Regional meetings. Every regional meeting must include the business meeting in addition with any other activities scheduled with the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering Auxiliary chairperson. The business meeting should be conducted with the due decorum. However, this does not preclude the auxiliary chairperson from using the invitation, new ideas for the said meeting with national officers. And attendance shall be introduced. The chairperson allowed the time to address the member. It is suggested that the chairperson arrange with the speaker for the other type of the information so forward with the other members the opportunity to learn more about the issues that affect our railroad lifestyles and those that are other spouses and family. If any of the chairman's desire suggestion for Brotherhood Locomotive Engineering Trainman Auxiliary Program during his or her regional convention, she or he is encouraged to contact either the national president or the member of the executive council for the assistance. Chairperson is encouraged at all times to espouse attend the Brotherhood Locomotive Engineering Trainman workshops, seminars, in addition to other events. Business opening and procedure form. The permanent meeting with the room is available. If a permanent meeting room is available for use, the following may be observed. The following opening meeting: Bible should be opened and placed on the table or table or altar. Flag, large or small, shall have been displayed in the room. And charter, either small copy of the original charter shall be displayed in the room. An official register book or other form of the registration is signed by the members of attendance. The room is now in order. If the meeting is in a restaurant, the official register book or other form of the registration is to be signed by all members in attendance. The remaining items listed above will be optional. Orders of business. President called for the meeting to order. Asks if all have signed in. Our chaplain opens the meeting with a prayer, reading of the approval of the minutes, reports, secretary, including correspondence received and sent, application received, other businesses, treasurer, including account balance, income, expenses, other business, legislative representative committee, standing as special, unfinished business, new business, and adjourn. And the Brotherhood of Auxiliary National Officers elected to the second quadrennial convention in Las Vegas, Nevada, September 28th to October 2014. Serena Hogan, National First Vice, Susie Burrell, National Secretary Luana Post, National Treasury Terry Flaman, National Second Vice President, National Legislation Kathleen Biscopas, National Third Vice President Rachel Grimes, National Chaplain Darla Flint, alternately National Secretary Deborah Keel, alternate National Treasurer Helen Brand, National President Anita J. Krause. And that is from the readings of the Constitutional Bylaw of the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineering and Trainman Auxiliary.